The following is a reading of The Power of Women by John Hembling. One of the lesser-known facts about the anti-abortion movement is that it is not driven by men's desire to control women or their bodies. The pro-choice rhetoric revolves around a woman's right to bodily autonomy. It also decries the patriarchal conceit that stodgy old white men should have determination of what a woman does with her eggs, her uterus, and some dude's gamete cells. But the argument, "Hey, old man, keep your old man hands off my fluffy lady bits," is a ruse. It's bullshit. The anti-abortion movement is a women's lobby group. It's women arguing to maintain traditional visions of women as natural mothers, mixed with women arguing to only allow limited circumstance when it comes to the killing of a gestating human embryo. But aren't men also party to the struggle? Well, sure, lots of them. But they don't really count, because they are not in the conversation representing any male interest. They are only arguing either of the two female points of view. Argument A: it's my body and I'll do with it what I want, for fuck's sakes. Argument B: there's a baby in there too and you can't just kill babies, for fuck's sakes. These are the two arguments. It's a fight between opposing groups of women. But wait a minute, aren't there some men's and fathers' rights activists saying anything in this debate too? Hey, those are my sperm cells you're using, and that's also my child you're proposing to either kill or give birth to? And also, why, if I have no legal voice, do I still have a legal obligation to pay the bill for 18 years? Indeed, some MRAs have fielded such a commentary, including me, but nobody is listening to us, because we are male. "Shut up and pay up and you should have kept it in your pants, dude," is enough to silence and marginalize the male perspective in the actual argument, which is a fight amongst women. This is worth repeating. The idea that the anti-abortion movement is men attempting to control women is a myth. The populist rhetoric, the war against women, is a major part of this misdirection. It's a deliberate and deceptive claim made that male interests are encroaching on female reproductive rights. And that's rubbish. The anti-abortion lobby is women, just as the pro-choice lobby is women. The fight over abortion is a battle between women's groups. Men in the argument are only supporting players in a political struggle between females. The male point of view has no political currency whatsoever. Men might as well not even exist in respect to this particular issue. So you might wonder why a man is wasting time with mention of the ongoing struggle over legal access to or limitations on abortion. Well, because although men's voices carry no weight, men do much of the dirty work on behalf of women in both the pro-life and the pro-choice camps. Occasionally, a clinic providing abortion services gets burned down, blown up, or otherwise molested. Some doctors and other healthcare workers have been murdered. These occasional arsons, bombings, and murders are performed by actors from the pro-life side of the abortion debate, and it's usually not a woman pouring gasoline on the furniture or pulling the trigger herself. Almost all violence in society is done by proxy, and men are the tools for women's violence. Anti-abortion groups committing such acts are organized by women. And abortion is still widely available across North America despite visible vocal and emotionally charged female opposition. Despite 59% of women opposing abortion on demand, feminism as the political movement on the pro-choice side is just as powerful as it has ever been. The Big F brand still retains a near monopoly of public discourse over this issue and all gender-related topics. So, why do men's rights advocates believe a trending hashtag, Women Against Feminism, matters at all? Feminism has not actually held popular support from women since its inception. Do MRAs think that women rejecting feminism means male suicide, or perhaps infant genital mutilation will suddenly gain new attention instead of more mockery? There is an established and uninterrupted silence from non-feminist women on the issues of men's rights, which includes male suicide, anti-male ideology in primary education, erosion of due process, sentencing disparity, disregarding male child sexual abuse, infant genital mutilation when male, anti-male college culture, anti-male affirmative action, public advocacy for male-targeted murder, male homelessness, male unemployment, family court bias against fathers, parental alienation of fathers, male reproductive self-determination, debtor's prison, prison rape, sexual assault of men by women, workplace death of men. Are any of the women claiming to be opposed to feminism doing anything at all about college campus star chamber justice? Or are they just motivated by the loss of male enthusiasm to be their exploitable resources? Apparently, all it takes to get some MRAs to roll over onto their backs and hang up their boxing gloves is a few women holding up signs which say, "I don't need feminism." Non-feminist women have said they like it when men practice chivalry, so men will obligingly step back onto the treadmill of protect, provide, and die. Should MRAs just be happy that some women like the guy who climbs the ladder of career and sacrifices himself as her provider, because although she will still own him, at least she'll say thanks, which is a little bit better than being exploited while being called a rapist. The men's rights movement has been, for as long as it has existed, a target for mockery. Man babies, small dick losers, whiny men, butthurt that they've lost their privileges, and so on. The catalog of insults and shaming tactics is well known. But no female human rights organization anywhere is mourning the slaughter of men or boys in Boko Haram, or anywhere else. The girls in the same crisis, not killed but merely abducted, that's who we are all hearing about in the news. Murdered boys? The world doesn't even care enough to notice. Women certainly do not give one single solitary fuck about the humanity or the disenfranchisement or the deaths of men. Even some of the women within this movement continue writing about how to game a guy on the career ladder so that seemingly submissive wives can enjoy a socialite's life. How to keep your human appliance happy and productive. Women like being pampered and paid for by somebody else's income. I don't even blame women who practice this particular path to ride along success by proxy. The worrisome factor is that the male plow horses they've harnessed who are so easily led that they keep falling for this ploy. But if men's human rights activists haven't yet figured this out, maybe we are all just too stupid to be worth caring about. And yet, the world is paying attention to what the mainstream media calls the marriage strike. Where, oh where, have all the good men gone? Women outside the men's rights movement, some of whom have doctorates, are now writing books about this. The men's rights movement calls this faction men going their own way. The difference in terminology is significant. For those selecting a MGTOW path, it is not a temporary suspension of female-favoring self-sacrifice. Unlike a temporary strike action, going your own way is not a move in some negotiation for a better contract. No, it is a diaspora. It appears that men taking their own happiness and freedom seriously and avoiding their own coercion and exploitation actually motivates some women to give a shit. Or at least, it motivates them to write a slogan on scented stationery and snap a selfie and then post it on Twitter. Some women spent as much as 2 and maybe even 3 minutes pantomiming empathy, and a great many MRAs appear ready to climb right back into their traditional male harnesses. Some MRAs are even advocating that the wealth transferal and male disposing scheme called marriage is a reasonable choice. They apparently believe the diaspora of men going their own way was merely a temporary interruption of service. Some MRAs even appear to be trying to convince men going their own way to treat self-ownership as a temporary tactic. Guys, value your humanity just until the owners of men's identities are a little bit more polite in exploiting you. This doesn't end with an order for action, but men's commitment to self-determination and freedom from illusion might be a good place to start. This has been a reading of The Power of Women by John Hembling, published at Community Organized Compassion and Kindness, located at canadiancock.org, link in the low bar. Thanks very much for listening.